It's a
Aha.
pleasure.
So,
A pleasure.
welcome to CCU Media Podcast. Over here we actually do both crypto podcasting, and we actually decided to add tech recently. So, this is actually my first uh tech tech-wise video. So I don't know actually how it's gonna go because I have little knowledge on what we call tech, but I mean, I'm actually not dull, so I still have a little bit of knowledge. Over here, please, what who do we have here? Can you actually introduce yourself to us, please?
Okay. Hi. My name is Oluwatobiloba.
Okay.
I'm a brand identity designer. I'm a logo designer. I'm a graphic designer, but I mainly specialize in brand and visual identity.
Okay.
It's something I'm basically self-taught, but I'm also a youth pastor and a theologian.
Wait a minute. Did I actually hear you right?
Yeah,
Wait. I actually heard a youth pastor, right?
yeah.
Wow. That's nice. That's nice. What church? I mean, do I actually have to bring in the church to the matter? What church? I just want to know for myself.
Okay, yeah. The Overcomer's Place. The Overcomer's Place.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. I mean, you're actually also preaching the word, so you're not actually like losing out in any form. You're preaching the word via gospel and via what are they calling it?
Yeah.
Designs and the rest. So it's actually nice to have you here, Mr. Dexius, also known as Mr. Toby. My name is Castin Arts, and I am a crypto podcaster. We actually cover up tech and crypto updates, like I said. So today we're actually going to be having a topic, and the topic is adapting. Sorry, actually having difficulties here. Please a minute. So the topic we're actually talking about is adapting to evolving design standards. The reason why I actually picked this topic was because I myself, I also do graphics, but I'm not really like that deep into graphics. I just try my best with Canva and Photoshop. But
Okay.
we also have, we actually have like instances whereby people are still using CorelDRAW. I mean, CorelDRAW is actually not a bad idea for actually doing graphics design and the rest, but
Well,
we're still having people that are using, I mean, if you actually go to like the cyber cafe or the cyber cafe and you're like, okay, you want to like do like a design for your church or a banner or something like that. When you check most of
yeah.
their screens, you won't actually meet a Photoshop there. You actually meet probably a Corel Draw, or you're actually seeing a Corel Draw of 2007, something like that. I mean,
That is correct. Yeah. For those
the
people
old
who are like, you're correct.
yeah, the olden days version. So I feel like, I mean, these guys also have actually like followed the way things are going, the way things are building up. I mean, there are actually new updates looking at the way we are looking at Photoshop and the rest. There are new updates rolling in. We are also seeing AI coming in. We are seeing different things,
Well,
different materials here and there online and some other things. I mean, if I actually look at this, guys, when last have they decided to like download a material, like probably a material online? It's probably a pack that they saw probably at Computer Village. They decided to put it up together
no.
and use it to cook up their designs. So we're actually going to be talking about our topic, which is adapting to evolving designs. So let me put it to you, Mr. Dexius. Can you tell us what you feel about this topic?
Well, based on the topic, right? Adapting to new standards, right? If I'm not mistaken. Can you remind me, like, give me the topic word for word so I can speak from those parameters?
Okay. Adapting to evolving design standards. We're actually having adapting there, we are having the evolving there, we're also having design and the standards. So having
Hmm.
like I think forwards.
Yeah. So the entire topic kind of communicates an idea, right? That you basically want to like, okay, what does it mean? There are a lot of words there that mean a lot of things, right? But at the end of the day, it's simply talking about just how to Is it move along with trends or move along with certain things that are gaining? Is it new levels? Because nothing remains the same forever, actually. Only God, right? But especially in our world where technology is constantly advancing, right? There is a need for improvement, constant improvement. There are people in the background always looking for new ways to, do things, new ways to make things better. So, like you were talking about CorelDRAW now being and most cyber cafes, right? They use ancient softwares and the rest, and kind of limits the quality of work that somebody will do. But then at the end of the day, you have to move with the, as new designs come, as new softwares come out, you kind of adapt to it. So adapting simply means creating or developing new systems or new patterns to kind of match your environment. So when they say an animal is adaptive, right? Once it gets into a new environment, it kind of develops new skills or new coping mechanisms on based on the environment and try to cope. So the same way, if you're adapting to new trends in design, right, or new or evolving rather, or evolving things in design or in tech, you have to kind of do what an animal that wants to adapt does, right? You have to, based on your previous skills that you already have on old design, you tend to level up on that. So if you're using CorelDRAW, for example, I was using CorelDRAW when I started around 2013. Yes, the first software I got on my laptop. Then I had a PC, HP Pentium compact to be precise, right? I don't know if you know it.
Yeah.
It
I
was
actually know it.
Celeron, you know it, right? It was no Celeron, I think it's Celeron or Pentium
It's the olden
processor.
days one.
And sorry?
I think it was the olden days one, like all those one that actually have fats. They are always very, very fat, not that slim.
Oh, okay, no. Mine was much slimmer, right? Mine was much slimmer, but it was, I
Wow.
think, 2 gram with,
Okay.
I think, an added of 500 gigabyte thereabout. So I was attending the computer school then, and they were teaching us, usual Microsoft Word and the rest. And they had CorelDRAW on the system in the school, and I kind of just was seeing people playing with it, like they were drawing things and like basic things. And I was intrigued because I used to draw while growing up, and I really wanted to find new expressions because I just entered school, nothing's really started, and like nothing. I've kind of abandoned being a child behind. So now I need to grow up, right? So I kind of had to find new ways to express this artistic gift that I had because I really drew a lot. I drew. And then I asked the person that was in charge of the computer school then to just, please install CorelDRAW on my PC for me. I beg. Let me be drawing. So I was drawing, from Nourious biscuits, Fanta bottles, we even drew angels then. And it was like, this thing is good though. So we're just playing around with it until I think so basically I started there and then now I'm with Photoshop here in 2023, which is like a 10-year span. And it's kind of like along that line, I encountered from CorelDRAW, I encountered Inkscape, I encountered InDesign, I encountered um what again? And then Photoshop, right? I think Photoshop is where I kind of drew the line on my design tools. But then I went ahead to gain more knowledge in other areas of Adobe Illustrator and Adobe softwares because of the need that arose because of the things I needed to do or to get done in the design space. So adapting, you have to adapt because if you don't
Hmm.
adapt, you either die out or you'll be left behind.
Hmm.
And that's just the principle of life. So if an animal finds himself in a new environment and it doesn't, develop new ways to cope or to survive, is that going to become a prey or it's really not going to do anything in the environment? It's going to go back. He has to go back and you'll be left behind. Definitely, that's just the point. Like you'll be left behind or you'll become a prey.
That is true. That is true. Thank you very, very much for your addition. I mean, you actually really, really said it all. You pointed out a lot of points. I mean, they actually pointed out a lot of things because if we actually look at it this way, let's
Yeah.
look at, for instance, probably where you said that you actually have to like be diverse, like actually like adapt to the environments, the way the environment is going. And
Mm-hmm.
there was actually a particular time, let me put it this way. There was a particular time that on Twitter something was trending about your identity, your branding and some other things like that, like knowing the niche of yourself. Like probably you're into designs. You actually have to like stick to designs and some other things like that. That you should know like choose to venture off, that means you're actually like going off your main goal in life, probably because you saw money more in this place. Then you decided to learn more about this place instead of like, you understand what I'm trying to say? So
Yeah,
it
yeah,
is quite funny. I mean, I myself as a podcaster, I actually have a brother who is a photographer and a designer. He actually does all this photoshops and some other things like that. So the knowledge doesn't end there. We are having photography. We are also learning videography. You're also learning what do they call this? Nature photography. You're learning like different diverse things, but they are actually linked towards photography. I mean, towards snapping, towards editing, towards things like that. But the moment you
yeah,
slide off and probably okay, you're into photography and other things like that, then you decide that okay, probably you want to do podcasting. Okay, you can also add podcasting. I mean, they also deal with probably you're using it to teach or some other things like that. But let me
yeah,
say, okay, let me actually use an example of probably you had makeup. You're actually doing makeup with photography. That becomes another thing entirely because what you are doing, you're actually doing probably you're designing, you are doing this on your laptop and things like that. But the moment you slide off, then you actually had makeup. That becomes another thing entirely. You're not actually following the same, except probably you actually have like a big school. Then you actually decide to like, okay, you want to empower people. Then you start doing makeup, teaching, youth empowerment, things like that, like that, like that. So
yeah.
thank you
That
very much for what you said. I mean, I actually have points here, points under this the adapting. The one I'm having here, I don't know how true it is, but I actually want to ask you. I'm having
okay.
stay informed. I'm having the user-centered design. What other one am I actually also having here? Sorry, please. Uh Stay informed, user-centered design, responsive and adaptive design, accessibility, cross-functional collaboration, iterative design process, brand consistency, experimentation and innovation, environmental
Mm.
and cultural sensitivity, continuous learning. Now, right from the first one, the stay informed was almost what we actually talked about in the first place, where we were actually talking about the probably all these cyber cafes, they're actually not like staying informed about the current trend, the way things are going on. So
Yeah.
that is also another example. While for the second one, I think you can also like help us shed on more light on that one. The second one is the user-centered design. So
Okay.
like with the definition is having here is like prioritize user experience, UX by understanding and anticipating users' needs. So,
Yeah.
probably like for instance, now if you have like a user that is always nagging each time he actually gives you a design, like probably he gives you a design to do, and it's someone that actually gives you design, like he has always been giving you designs, but each time he gives you designs, he's always the kind of person that would always complain. I mean, you always have a client like that. You'd always complain that
Yeah.
probably this one has errors. This is not too straight. It has a little bit of this, it has a little bit of that. So what would you actually like tell people? Because sometimes people would actually want to like get frustrated at a point that, you know what, let me just drop this client. How much is it even playing sex? So what would you say?
Yeah, we all get to that point where at first most of us or most of us designers started out designing as an hobby, right? As a hobby and kind of what we do for fun. But then at the end of the day, you have to realize that many of these designs are actually going out to people and there are goals that these designs need to achieve. So designing or putting the user in mind is actually a core in design, because everything we use had to put the user in mind. Imagine a bed that you can lie down on and you call it a bed. You have not put the user in mind. Or no, Muka Foam always tell you sleep comfortably. No, you are putting the user in mind. So the same way, everything that is designed, even God that designed the earth, right, made it in a way for people to stand on the ground because of gravity. Implemented gravity. So definitely, the user is put in mind while the design was being implemented. I don't know if you get that concept. So at the end of the day, you have to design with the user in mind, because I always say something. I said if your design doesn't solve a problem, then your design is a problem. So you kind of in trying to create a solution to a problem, you have to actually solve the problem. If
That's
not,
true.
you are creating a problem yourself. So every design solves the problem. Every design has to communicate something to someone. So while you are designing, and you are designing, say, for a children's brand, there are certain elements that automatically have to go into it. So if say a client is always making these corrections, during my course, right, and that's why credibility is important. During the course of my learning years, I tend to kind of show the clients why it's important to go in this direction, because definitely there are some clients that just pains in there. Pains, man. I'm not gonna lie, they are just really, really terrible people. And yeah, this thing is, I'm not trying to get to this audience. So listen to what I'm telling you. Like, let me give you I'm giving you what works, right? What appeals to your audience. Not you don't have to just do what appeals to you, to what appeals to the audience. But
That's
then at the
true.
end of the day, clients always right, and there is really nothing you can do about it. So in order for integrity's sake, you have to actually complete the project and just let the man, bear the consequences of of
That
his
is
actions, right?
that is
Yeah.
true. That is true. That is true. I mean, what you just mentioned, I mean, there was actually a time I saw something similar to what you're saying, but the person actually didn't come up, but I actually knew the person. So there's a particular time, a particular brand like got a design done. So they actually posted it, and they posted it on Twitter. So somebody carried up this design, and it was like, how would you, as a designer, do something like this? And you
Yeah.
give it towards, like, to your clients, and your clients post it on Twitter. How would you do a bad design like this? But most time they're
Yeah.
actually always blaming the designer, blaming the designer. The designer does not know work, is a quack. It's probably all these people that actually do Corel Draw from 2007 that they actually gave. So they
Yeah.
won't actually know that, some of these situations can also fall towards the clients, because it might be that the clients wants that, okay, I just want something, do it this way, and I want it that way. I just want it that way. I
Yeah.
don't want it any other way. So the designer himself will be like, rah, I mean, all my hands is actually left towards you. I mean, since you're actually paying me money and the money is entering my accounts, no problem. But he doesn't know that if you continue this way, if you continue this way, this design pattern they're actually like creating would actually cause havoc in the system. So
Exactly.
they're like I don't even know how to put it. They're just like a pattern that we actually have to follow, that people have to follow, that actually set down. But I mean, people can't actually like say that, okay, they want to stop following this pattern, or they actually want to like decline their clients from like the things they actually says or he wants. But the thing is,
Yeah.
if people can just have trust in Nigeria, the problem we have here is trust. No trust.
Yeah.
Zero. You hear it? Zero. No trust. No trust at all. If they can actually just have faith that, okay, I actually want to leave it to this guy. Let him, I mean, he's actually probably having experience of like 2 years or 3 years. He has actually been doing this for a while. He's someone that can actually handle the situation, and he will handle it properly. So, but
Exactly.
I mean, they will not still leave him. You see them. I actually want to complain to you. I also do what we call like the voiceover artist stuff. So
Yeah.
there was this
Yeah.
kind of clients I actually did a job for, and I actually sent him over like 4 or 5 records of what he wanted. And this client got back to me and it was like, the voice is not, I don't know. I recorded a high pitch, low pitch, thick tone, and like I just recorded everything in a diverse manner. But this guy still came back and was like, it is too plain. What is too plain? Okay, how do you want it? I mean, if you actually like, if you actually say like the voice is too plain, how do you want it? Send me an example. He sent me an example. I did something exactly. He said it is too similar. Where is the problem? Like, yeah, like, where is the problem coming from? Since you actually say this is too
Bruh.
similar. But at the end of the day, you know what happened? At the end of the day, the person that was actually like supposed to do the video messaged me and it was like, okay, he knows what he will do. That you will actually have to cut the audios together, then fix it up all together, then later like cook it up as one. That
Yeah.
was the only way the guy left me. He kept on dragging. I mean, he was dragging it with me that he was like, no, 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 no. I cannot accept this from you. I mean, you've actually collected your money because me, I will collect upfront from you.
Yeah.
I'm wasting my voice, so I'll collect my upfront at least like 80 or 85%. So he didn't
And
actually have
you have to put it in place to preserve the on-site.
so something like that. That was what actually happened. So the second one we're actually supposed to be having right now. Actually supposed to be starting the second meeting right now, but no. So we also have accessibility.
Okay.
Accessibility here, they're actually saying that design with accessibility in mind to ensure that your products are usable by people of all abilities. Follow guidelines such as like the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines to create inclusive designs. Regularly test your designs with assistive technologies to identify and address potential accessibility issues. So, this accessibility, I don't know how it works, but with what you have actually said, do you actually like have any thoughts on it?
Well, based on that, it's like accessibility, if I'm getting it right?
Yes.
Okay. I honestly wouldn't say that is entirely on the designer side, because at the end of the day, you are designing for an audience. So if they include say, okay, we're designing this product to be also accessible for, say, the less privileged, the less, no, not less privileged, well, they're part of the less privileged, more the handicapped, or the
Yeah,
person that has suffered from one disability or another,
that's
then you
true.
have to do that with in mind. So say you are designing a flyer for the for say somebody that will be deaf and dumb, right?
Okay.
Then you can't design a flyer if you can only design a visual flyer. But if you're
Okay.
designing for somebody that is going to be blind, then
Okay.
they have to be you have to now bring on board somebody that knows this. I've forgotten the name for this blind
I don't even know how.
alphabets.
I mean, they actually puncture. I don't know. They puncture those things, but I don't know what they
Yeah,
call it. But actually, I feel like they actually puncture it, so they feel it with their hands,
yeah,
and
the name is so I can't remember. The
so
yeah,
let's leave that one. Let's leave that
but
one for them.
you get
Yeah.
yeah. So you have to design with those people in mind. So it's still actually like designing with the audience in mind, your audience in mind.
Okay, okay, okay. I mean, you also like you also raised a point there. I mean, looking at the audience, looking at both the disabled and not the disabled. Hi, as you're actually looking at me, I am a learning architect. I actually studied architecture in school, and
Well,
architecture
architecture in school.
architecture is a course that if you're actually making your plan, no matter the building you're actually doing, the plan or I mean the building plan you're actually doing, probably it's a toilet or a full building or anything, you actually have to design in respect to both environment and the disabled because I mean we're actually in a modern world, we're also adapting because since we're actually adapting to new age, we're having people that actually like this disabled coming out. I mean, how do I put it? It's not actually that they've actually not been coming out before, but like it's actually like more laws that actually like supporting them and the current world that we're actually in. So every design you're actually making actually has to like in one way or the other help them, not miscomfort them. I mean, you're actually like
Yeah.
designing a house now and you're putting only staircase. There's no ramp for the wheel. I mean, the person actually is using a wheelchair to pass. So that would be very, very, very bad and painful. I mean, probably
Yeah.
someone, I mean, probably even if you don't even know, probably that probably the co-owner of the building they're designing is actually someone that actually is on a wheelchair. So how will he gain access to the building? So something like that. We've actually talked on accessibility. We also have the cross-functional collaboration. Now, this cross-functional collaboration, I mean, before I actually say the cross-functional, I actually want to talk about collaboration. We're actually having 4:34 here. I mean, the time is not also gone yet. Cross-functional collaboration. For collaboration in every aspect, we always have collabo. Like now, we in cryptocurrency, we actually always want to do designs. I mean, probably want to like do like a thread, a Twitter thread now for a particular project. We would need someone to handle the graphics for us. Then we go out and source for a graphics designer. Now, when you are sourcing for the graphics designer, probably this Twitter trade you're actually doing would actually source you money. You can decide to collab with the designer. Then probably at the end of the day, the earnings you're actually getting would actually be shared one way or the other, or you're actually making the payments to the person, I mean, the person that's actually doing the design, but you're actually tagging the person that did design in the Twitter thread that, okay, this design was done by so person, give him a follow.
Yeah.
So the collab is also like falling like in line with both partnership or not partnership. Partnership will be like, okay, probably it will be either long or short, but you would actually be having more content from that person for a long time for a short time.
Mm-hmm.
While collaboration can always like probably something that's actually happened once in a lifetime or once in a while or once every week or something like that. So what do you feel about collaboration or cross-functional collaboration in design? Let me put it to you.
Okay. Yeah. So I'll talk about first of all collaboration and then cross-functional collaboration. In especially with the topic, right? Topic at hand, right? Adapting to evolving design standard. Design for the collaboration usually isn't a big deal in design. It's usually musicians that collaborate, so and so features, so and so, right? Or I think it's mainly in the music space, right? And but then designers, especially with the trend of social media, development of social media, and maybe a lot of publicity coming from, okay, you have an audience, I have an audience, why don't we collaborate, right? And two designers can collaborate to work on a project. And for example, I'm a brand designer, I can collaborate with another designer to work on, say, okay, I'm gonna work on the logo, you are gonna work on the identity. And then we share it as our work, right? And then it kind of creates a apart from it creating an elaborate reach, it also kind of gives room for an in-depth work because you're not handling everything. So you focus mainly on what your side of the collaboration is. I don't know if you get my point. So imagine your example now. If somebody wants to a crypto person, right? He now wants to design the plan himself. Come on. It's not really gonna reach many people because of the unless he's the designer, right? But it's still better to find somebody who is good at it and then give the person out. Then we want to now come to cross-functional or inter is it niche collaboration, because at the end of the day, most people have niche of specialty. So collaboration in with a different niche. For example, I'm a brand designer and then somebody else is a UI or a web developer, right? And then I'm creating a brand design. Then the person will now develop the websites, UI, UX, app, web app, and the rest. And then we come together. So it invariably increases reach. It may turn out to be a project that can bring in a lot of gigs because you know most smaller businesses will not really pay attention to a lot of these heavy projects. But the people that will pay you high or pay you the amount that actually is worth, because most times designers will never pay what they're worth. But those kind of case studies or those kind of projects brings those kind of clients your way because of the amount of work that goes into it. And then you can now collaborate with that same person because now you can include web design, web portfolio building, or app design into your portfolio. Say you are the one that was contacted by the client, and then you are like, okay, yeah, this project, yes, I collaborated with so and so on it, and then my services include, or you may not even need to mention I collaborated with so and so on it, but my services now include in your, when you are charging the person, right? You can include web design, you can include app design and the rest. Then you can now source out for that collaboration again, because you know what the person is capable of, and you've already had a project that has already told that line. So at the end of the day, collaboration is key in evolving. You as a designer, you begin to realize that, okay, you cannot do everything yourself. It increases reach. It increases the reach of, say, I post the work on my social media and I collaborate with you on the post. More people see it, your followers see it, my followers see it, as opposed to only me posting it. It brings a lot of like, I'll call it income, right? Because at the end of the day, income grows because of that collaboration. So collaboration is important to evolving as a designer. Most designers that do not collaborate, if I personally, I only started collaborating recently, and I've not even really collaborated on the project. It's mainly for content creation and the rest, because collaboration is not easy, right? And most of us designers are introverts, so it's not easy to reach out. In fact, you just be a guy alpha and the rest. But when you want to now say, okay, guys, let's work on this project, right? It's usually just a different ball game entirely, and it's something that needs to be learned. But right now, I'm really trying to prioritize collaborating with designers or content creators to just create contents that are um more telling, right? And just of more quality. So that's basically what I would say about
Okay,
collaboration. Yeah.
okay. I mean, you hit a lot of points, especially the point on the reach. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody actually like starts somewhere. We're actually having some parts, we're actually having like Twitter, we're having social media as also like a platform actually like to get this designs out
So
there. But I mean, I feel like you guys actually have some sort of like Behance and the rest where you can actually also
that
post your stuff and some other things. But I mean, which let's be frank, let's actually talk man to man. Via
yeah.
Behance or Twitter or Instagram, which actually gives you much reach. I mean the audience that actually wants on your stuff.
Yeah, honestly, I can't say for me personally, right? Instagram is where my reach is because I have a lot of followers there. And I just recently collaborated on a content. Designers now are content creators. You cannot help it. It's part of
Yeah.
your business model, right? And
Hmm.
but I think Instagram is the best platform for me, and especially with it being a visual content and sometimes video content. Instagram is still the best, right? TikTok, more video content, but Instagram is where the ball is at. Twitter is if you can jump on a trend,
That
then
is
you
it.
get rich.
That's it.
You get rich. And
That's
then
it.
if you can build intensity, right? Say, because most people like to see processes, especially on Twitter. They like to like Twitter is like a marketplace where people need it to
Yeah,
be real.
that is
So
it. 100%.
it's like a global village. That's actually what we call global village. That's Twitter. Twitter,
100%.
it happens on Twitter and it blows up. Anybody and everybody can see it. So
Hmm.
I don't know if you get that concept. So then I use both of them to tie to Behance, because Behance is just like a portfolio kind of thing, right? Just showcase your
Okay.
work, everybody see the entire process and everything. And people on there are more professionals, right? You just
Yeah.
display what you can do, right? Nobody really needs to hear you talk or say anything much, right?
Hmm.
Actually, the way I use it. So I kind of use Twitter to tie back, post the link, check the link in my bio. Okay, this project is now live on Behance, and then from there you use those to drive traffic to Behance and then increase your engagement in
Hmm.
Behance. So that's how I work with it.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay. Thank you very much. I mean, we're actually already half past the 30 minutes for the first half. So we're actually gonna be starting the second part of the meeting, but I think that would actually be not complete 30 minutes anymore because you actually already used almost 40 minutes right now. So
Yeah.
you can just join in the second link. I've actually already started the meeting right now. So I'll be live there.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. I'll do it now.
Yeah. Are you with me?
can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
Sorry, my battery.
Oh, so
Yes,
sorry about
sorry.
that. Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry. I mean, like how many minutes can we actually use
We
without?
can say the same 30 minutes if you want.
Okay, okay, okay. So, welcome back, Mr. Dexius. We actually talked about the social reach and when you're explaining about your Instagram and Twitter and some other things like that. I mean, I actually wanted to see something. I mean, you're actually saying that Twitter is like the village where everything like goes down. You know, uh, I would not want Mr. Elon Musk to hear that you called. I said I would not actually want Elon Musk to actually hear that you called his app the village where everything actually goes. Can you hear me? Okay.
Right. All right.
Yeah. I said I actually not want Elon Musk to actually hear that you've said his app is where the village you understand it's like that. But I mean let's just leave that one. I'm actually just joking. So
No,
um
you cannot get angry.
so actually going towards our second part, which is the environmental and cultural sensitivity. So I mean I'm very, very sure every designer actually like follows this pattern. I mean, I also as an architect and as a podcaster, I actually follow what is actually going on in the environment, actually going on in the community as a whole. But for that environmental and cultural, especially the cultural, that is actually also linked to your designs because probably the person or the client you're actually working for is the job he actually wants is a restaurant or he actually wants like a food design. You'd actually know the combination of colors, the hierarchy of colors they're actually supposed to follow, the pattern and everything. You're actually not supposed to like go off this path or go off that path because I mean, if you go off the cultural value, your design will actually land on Twitter and you really the next person they're dragging. That's it. That's it. So what do you feel?
Yeah, definitely. I think I made a post on Twitter, I think last year, right, about colors and their importance, right? There are some colors that we know have meaning, right? Like red tends to convey sense of danger or strong emotion. Orange, more or less inspires hunger, and the rest black. But in certain cultures, those colors mean different things, right? And you know, paying attention. That's why in brand design, right, there's something called market research and brand strategy because it's important to understand what's going on in that, especially in that marketplace, right? And in that economy or select target audience. So that's why we do all that before actually picking the word. And it's important that that is done because at the end of the day, you have to do something that is culturally appropriate because if you don't, like you said, you are going to be dragged. So colors, especially have colors are actually what make the world make sense sometimes, right? I remember when they were doing black and white TV and I was watching when the TVs were switching back to switching to color. Everything just tend to give off a new different kind of light, right?
Yeah.
And so anytime we see colors, right, certain things are sparked, right? Like
Hmm.
I said, orange and yellow automatically ignites hunger. Automatically, like there is a subtle psychology with it. That's why most of the food brands use
Yeah.
orange and yellow, right? If you check Mr. Biggs, or red and yellow, right? You
Yes.
check Mr. Biggs, crunchies, check Chicken Republic and the rest. Colors are
Hmm.
important. And if you come to the African context, right, our colors are red, blue, green, red, green, yellow, and black.
Yes.
You already know it's African. It has African feel once you combine those colors. But then when you go to the to say US, right, or to luxury, then
Hmm.
there are colors that automatically complicate luxury. Nude, burgundy, all those um dull green, all those kind of colors automatically
Yeah.
communicate luxury and then simplicity. So you use two colors, three colors, unlike the Africa, you want to design Africa, you have to use the color and then combine them appropriately to really capture and then use patterns, right? And then to capture the elements. So it has to be culturally appropriate. If not, it's like you're shooting at the target and you are missing it. Because obviously you miss the target. Because at the end of the day, somebody can look at your design and get offended, right? In Chinese culture, you see the way the design is structured, and you want to go and do it like your design is appearing on the African streets. Come on, you're gonna get a backlash from your client and then the target audience. Definitely, you end up getting dragged onto it.
That is that is true. That is true. That is true. I mean, I can actually like vouch for what you just said right now, the color pattern and everything. I actually would not want us to like touch much on the environmental and cultural side because I mean almost everybody actually already knows how this thing flows, how the color source flows, because you as a designer, that is one of the number one thing you should actually have in mind when you're designing. You can't just be like, okay, I just want to design. You don't, except you are me. Except you are me, because me, I don't know how to design. I just put it together and check it out. So, I mean, so I mean, but we are also learning one at a time. But so that actually carries us to what we're actually going to be saying the second time. I mean, the second point we're actually going to be raising, which is continuous learning. Now, part of what I've seen in designers on Twitter, because my main house where I actually live is Twitter. I'm very, 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 very active on Twitter. I mean, with what I've actually seen, I noticed that, and I actually love the way you guys actually roll. I mean, there will be a particular time I actually saw a post that someone actually posted a design. So it was like, okay, this is what actually made. Then you actually see somebody that is quoting the design and is like, okay, I decided to add this. Then you see another person is actually quoting the design or is actually like screenshotting and is saying, it's tagging the creator, I mean, the main person that actually created the tweet that, okay, this is what I created. This is what I created. Like over like 10 people or 20 people. So I actually love that pattern. It's also called continuous learning because they're actually like learning from this person, but they are creating their own. They are redefining it, creating their own, creating their own. From there, they are also learning. So I mean, I actually don't know how to relate it to crypto because we also have instances where we actually like having trades, but this is a bit technical for us. But it's already like we can actually point it out in the on the designers as I mean the designer's side of the designer's aspect because it's where you actually see someone that you would be like, okay, I would like to correct, not even correct, I would like to like improve on what this person did. Let me see what I can actually do with what you made. Probably you can actually give me like probably some materials, how you did this, then I would actually make it from the materials that you did. I can animate this, I can animate that. I mean, look at the instance of 2K. I mean, that was actually like that was what even pushed me. I mean, I actually loved the designs I saw about that stuff. I mean, it was actually on my mind that let's just start the application. I mean, I just want the application to go live, but I don't know how it's going right now. But I mean, we can also use that one as an example because a lot of people kept on creating up designs that okay, what about this? What about this? What about this? What about this? And if they actually, I also noticed that if they're actually also wrong, you would see some people correcting that, okay, this is what they're supposed to do, this is what they're supposed to do. And the Twitter space for crypto guys, I don't want to convict anybody or I don't want to say anything. We are kind of people that we believe in pride. I'll tell you. We believe in pride. We have pride. Yes, we have pride because a lot of us would have, I mean, some people would actually have funds more than the other person. This person can have much funds than the other person. So that is where the pride and jealousy comes in. So you won't actually blame us or a situation like that. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Sorry, yeah, I actually noticed something blocked my screen. So you won't actually blame us for a situation like that. So what do you actually feel about continuous learning from your side? I mean, I've actually tried to cover a little point, but I don't know how sure I am about that point. So what do you feel?
Yeah, continuous learning is kind of the principle of life. I would say it's a life because there is a bunch of sayings that I think just some days back somebody still mentioned.
he who thinks he knows and wants to or doesn't he who thinks he knows and doesn't want to know, right? He should he's kind of like a fool, right? Then there is he who knows but then wants to know, right? To teach him, right? And then there is he who does not know but wants to know, right? He knows that he does not know and wants to know, then you keep him around and then teach him. But then there is he who does not know and does not know that he does not want to know that he does not know, or something like that. I don't know if you get the concept. So they're like that set people, right?
Yeah.
And those there is a need to be in the middle where you are like, okay, even if I know this, I still want to know. And then even if I don't know this, like, okay, tell me I don't know and I want to know. So
Yeah.
right, so it's kind of like a principle of life, right? No matter what you do, there is always something to be known. There is always something to be done. And if you come into the design space, no matter how good you are, there's somebody that's better. And you took the example you gave, right? I created the branding and the identity, but then I was seeing the things that people came up with, right? For example, the worst part took it was illustration by Fort Ubon. And then I said to myself, this thing can be improved upon. So once I did that in the short period of time, I've learned something in the process. Because I did not just learn how to design, I learned how to apply design to trend, which kind of gave way to some other, like, it's just thinking outside the box. And sometimes you never know. I never knew that 2K would go that far, honestly. It was I don't know if you watched the making of the 2K. It was one Sunday afternoon, and I put something together,
Twitter
and
is a
Twitter
crazy place.
and then it just people created launch apps, people launched the landing page,
Yeah.
software, and the rest. Like somebody even turned social media manager for 2K. Like they legit created. Sorry about my video. They legit created a Twitter account and then became a social media manager. And I'm like, whoa, chill, bro. It's not getting the thing, but chill. So, but then, constant learning is, and from that experience, right? While I was in that experience, so there is desire, oh, let this app launch. I wish somebody can do this. I wish somebody can do that. But at the end of the day, it's like I heard somebody say, you know what it means to handle a financial app in this country. You've learned something new. Automatically, you've learned something. You're like, it's not just designing an app and then putting it out there. It's actually a lot of work. And somebody was like, are you willing to give up or forget your life or fit your life for the next 3 years? Just for anything about your life to focus on that app for the next 3 years. And well, so personal learning is important. And throughout that experience, you know, it kind of teaches you the need for thinking, the need for the need for uh, you know, being where information can get to you. Because if I was not online or if I did not see what was happening, you may not be able to jump on that train, and certain things will never come to fruition. So, positioning, um, positioning, proactiveness, and then purpose. I think you want to give it an iteration. That's some three things you can take from there. Yeah.
That is okay. I mean, you actually like you hit the nail on the head of what we're actually talking about. So there is also something I would like to actually point out before we actually like hit the last points of the discussion. So do you actually believe, I mean, I'm actually just asking this blunt question. Do you actually believe in designers? I mean, you guys actually like have a lot of work doing this designs and some other things like that. Do you believe in designers that are actually selling their materials that probably okay, I decided to like create an elements box whereby a pack whereby you're actually having different icons or probably designs, sets of mock-up or things like that. Do you actually believe those that actually put it up for sale, do you actually believe they're actually doing a greater good, or like a bad good? And do you actually think those are actually put it up for free, actually giving a greater good or a bad good?
Here's how I think about it, right? Um, there is for the first phase of people that put it online for sale. I think I wouldn't say it bad, right? I would say if it's within a reasonable price range, because at the end of the day, right, your hard work goes into it. But some of those materials are gotten free online. Right? Now, sorry about that. Now, the issue here is how much are you how much are you putting it up, right? And are you doing that because you want to get money, or because there's a psychology I have? Some people don't pay for something, not value, right? So again, how much are you selling? And because of your time to browse the internet and gather those resources, somebody can pay for that.
Yeah.
Right? By all means. But if you're copying up and you're gathering other people's works, other people's materials that you bought from them, and then you're now selling, that's not ideal. It's against design ethics and even the law, right? And then if you are just gathering materials, whether they are licensed or not, and then just uploading it, selling it without their license, and then putting some people in trouble in the future, that's just a whole mess. So there are some people that do greater good, right? Because you upload a pack of 1,000 materials and then you sell it for 500 naira. People spend 500 naira every day on data. So by all means, like the amount you use.
Cheapest.
Exactly. So something like that is by all means sell it. And then the people that post it for free, you are doing the Lord's work. Because honestly, there's some people that just are grateful for that free material. Right? If you're going to use data to download it, they are grateful. Because at the end of the day, the person that is downloading it is spending money on data. And some of these files can get up to 500 to 1,000 megabytes, which is 1 gig, right? And some people do not have data for that. Talk less of, or talk more of paying for it. So you get that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So free materials that somebody can access and download it gradually. It's something that's really good. So the greater good for them, the greater good. But then there's also will I say caution, because we don't also put somebody wrong. We don't put somebody's material. So if you pay for those materials and you want to share them, I think share them to maybe those people don't want to put it online, because somebody worked their ass off to create that material. So I think you should just direct them towards that person's page, like you want to talk. Let the person find out how to buy it, share materials like that for free.
Yeah.
That's my take.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your addition. So I've actually come to the last point. And the last point is it's not actually a tricky question, but it's also like a random question that actually also happens from a day to day. I would actually want to like spoil these people of their business or things like that or badmouth them, but I just actually want to like point it out. So we're actually talking about design schools. Now, I mean, I'm actually talking about physical design schools where you actually like get to go daily, like you're actually going there and things like that. Now, me from when I was actually small, I actually never supported going to like anything, probably actually going to like learn technical stuff, then actually going to a school to learn it. I prefer like learning online. And my parents actually feel like, okay, if you actually going to like learn something at a design school, that's when you're actually having a situation whereby your boss decides to send you probably to KFC or to so place, help me go get this package and come back and do something like that. I mean, some parents actually don't actually love that. They hate it with passion. You actually like doing something like that. So that's why you actually see some situation whereby, okay, we support online stuffs and some other things like that. So what which one would they actually prefer? I mean, both of them are also idealable. You can also learn online and you can also learn it in the school. But which one would you prefer? A physical design school or an online learning school?
I'm being honest, right? It's I would say both
Okay.
are right for the situations you painted, right?
Mm.
Again, there are ethics that guide human interactions, right? There are
Yeah.
certain things that are just extreme,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Somebody came to school to learn, right?
Yeah.
Saying, sorry about this. Don't begin to send the person errands, right? Errands, and then you know, it kind of takes away from some why the person was there.
Mm.
Because at the end of the day, the person came to school to learn, not to be your errand boy,
Yeah.
right? But if that is the case, then I don't support things like that. However, there are situations where if it's regarding the technical process, there are sometimes where you need to meet client, think about what's going on. Then the
Mm.
person starts. But don't put another person's child in danger, second person's child, and most people that learn design are very good at with overhead or jam and the rest, right? And they are using that period to learn design. So don't put people in those situations. However, the entire setup of a physical setting, especially people around that are learning the same thing, there's interaction, there is you can build connections, you can build friendships from there. And the learning process is kind of supervised, especially in group design school.
Yeah.
So you can actually be watching out for your students and how their progress is coming along. Whereas in the online classes mainly is dependent upon the students' desire to learn. Anybody
Mm.
that's come to me for me to teach them, I usually tell them, are you committed to this? If you're not, nothing I teach you right? Because at the end of the day, it's practicality. You have to practicalize, you have to skills to it. So
Yeah.
if I tell you, okay, this how to design it, look, sketch, this, that, if you're not gonna rehearse practice, you're never gonna get it.
Mm.
So you pay me something like 100,000 and then you end up insulting me because I did not impact. It's not spiritual, right? I cannot lay hands on you. Honestly, it's not. That's my works. Even God will look at you and say, "Bro, what are you trying to do?" Right?
Yeah.
There is time, there is dedication, and for online learning, it's kind of important that people are desiring already started out because you have to start out before you can apply for online school. Honestly, you cannot come
Mm.
as a novice
Mm.
because what's the difference? This is an online school, and you have YouTube, you have plethora of resources. So why not
Yeah.
access those first? And then if anything is becoming like a jam in your head, because honestly, I learned.
Reach out.
I told you I attended the computer school, right? But I learned everything on my own.
Mm.
The computer school didn't really say, okay, this is design school, right? It was just on their system. It was a friend of mine, Anthony, I can't remember his name, right? He showed me how to use the pen tool and the draw tool, I think draw. And then that was it. And then how to put colors on shapes. And that was how I started. The rest was sleepless night from my end, tirelessly designing bunch of nonsense. Honestly, I will have heavy eyes to class. Heavy eyes like this because I was designing overnight. And then along the line, entered YouTube, took a course in Udemy, downloaded an app, explored variety of things, explored
Yeah.
poster design, explored album art, explored logo design, explored flyer design, explored. By the time I was about to niche, right, I just took everything I learned and then I said, where can I apply all this? And then I put it in brand design because I can do everything brand design from the beginning to the end. And when I was even starting to explore video animation and the rest. So if you have gone through that, and my process took about 8 years,
Wow.
right? But then, yeah, I'm still learning. But the entire team, if I
The
know, okay,
continuous
yes,
learning moves.
my hand on strong. I think last year I even delved deep into motion design, right? But then,
Okay.
if for example, I tell somebody, okay, look how long I've been designing, so you say 2 years, and you're not where you need to be, it means you have some passion. So now you can just guide it. Because the reason why my own journey took 7, 8 years because I didn't have any guide. I was in everything on my own. So at the end of the day, you are just coming to that online school to gain clarity to certain things you don't understand.
That
Nobody
is
can
it.
teach you everything from scratch.
That is
Those
it.
basics, those basics are to be applied. Once you are seeing something is not working, apply them now. Once you are with basics of design,
Mm.
you have to be designing from
That is the key point. That is the key point. I mean, we actually look at COVID-19. Some people actually are looking at COVID-19 as something that was very, very bad. But to me,
that was where
to me, I actually feel like COVID-19 came as a helping hand to a lot of people. I mean, a lot of people, it came as a helping hand to a lot of people to explore this online schooling and online classes and some other things like that. I mean, look at my dad now. Look at my dad as an example. My dad was actually someone that was not very, very conversant with phones. He just checks his phone and he just like, okay, just does his WhatsApp, checks his camera, and that's all. But imagine him deciding that, okay, I actually want to have like an online class with someone because he actually tutors. So he's having an online class with someone via Zoom like this. So also it's created another means of like learning and doing some other things. I mean, there are some people that you would see that they will tell you, they will argue bluntly with you that no matter what, I cannot learn what I want to learn online. It's not even entering my head. I have to reach that school in particular. But there is a funny situation about this school. This school, the thing is, I mean, it's just like every other school. It's just like the way you're actually in your normal school. For instance, now you're actually having a lecturer, and the lecturer is having a student that actually knows, or probably your head of course of rep or something like that. Then he actually gives the course of rep the course guideline or course outline. Then he tells the course of rep that, okay, this is it, post it towards these guys and teach them, and it's out of the class. So that is almost similar thing that's actually also happening in these schools. They give someone that actually already has a little bit of years or knowledge. They give it to him that, okay, oh yeah, teach them and offload the knowledge to them. But the funny situation is that these guys won't be able to ask the questions. Then it takes a longer time for them to process everything. Everything becomes a
honestly, at the end of the day, I think if you even attend the physical class, you have to go online to get. Because I was going through a Twitter post on Instagram post, and then they were like, the solution I've been looking for that my lecturer has not provided. One Indian guy on YouTube with 5 subscribers has provided me a clear answer. So I don't think the issue is the online class. I just think some people are not open to it because
yeah.
if you're not open to it, I was watching a video. It said what you choose to see is what you see. If you tell yourself, I cannot learn online class, even if the class is really good, I cannot learn from online class. Even if the class is really good, nothing, it won't happen because your mind is already attuned to the fact that, oh, I'm wasting my time here. And so therefore there is no progress. So at the end of the day, I think online class, like you said, 2020 was a year where people learned a lot to do. Especially people that desire to learn something. Now they can sit down after attend class anytime they like without spending transport. But do you know how important that is?
Like seriously. That is it. That is it. That is it.
So I wanted to learn analysis, then people that are into accounting, are into quarter, they could do it in 2020 because nobody was stopping them. They attend the work meeting here, attend class here, problem solved.
That's all. Like it was as simple as possible.
Yeah.
I mean, it also even created job opportunities for those that are actually like between Nigeria and other countries. So it was so amazing, an amazing moment. So thank you, Mr. Dexios. We've covered a lot of points today. We covered a lot of things. You said a lot of things. We talked about continuous learning. We talked about adaptation. We talked about evolving designs. We talked about CorelDRAW. We talked about Photoshop. We talked about motion designing and some other things like that. So, it's been an amazing session so far. We've actually been able to point on how adapting to evolving designs can actually be like, and how you can actually put it in place and how you can move forward. We've said a lot of things, but I actually hope our audience would actually be able to learn one or two things from this meeting. And if you can actually want one or two things like via this video, you can also meet our humble sir, Mr. Dexius, right here. That is actually with us. You can actually check him out on his Twitter page, his Twitter handle. I will actually be tagging it right down under this video. And I mean, I actually hope to bring more of the tech related, design related, and UI UX related people on our show. I mean, Mr. Dexius also has a YouTube channel. I mean, right? Where he actually posts some videos on how to tutor people. It's been an amazing session. He said a lot of things. I mean, I must say, bruh, I actually have to give like an accolade to you guys. So, do you actually have like any closing remarks before we actually like close it up?
Based on the topic right that we discussed today, adapting to evolving design standards is important. That I think that core element, I think the message of this entire podcast was the fact that one should continuously learn, because it's in learning we tend to gain new skills that will help us to maneuver the evolving space.
Yeah.
So I posted something on my Instagram today. I said failure or your failures are never to put you down or to show you how bad you are. They're simply pointers to your growth areas or areas you need to make improvement. So your failure is your cue to grow. So once you fail in a particular area, look at it and see, okay, you know what, I need to learn this, I need to learn that, and then I improve. So if at first you don't succeed, try again. So that's the point. You learn and then you adapt. You learn and then you adapt.
Thank you very, very much. That is the key. Just have it in mind. You hear the word learn and adapt, and you keep following that pattern, you will pass. No, I know I was about to say you will reach the limits. You will pass the limits. Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Dex. Thank you very much, Mr. Dexius. It was amazing talking with you. I really appreciate you giving me the time to actually talk with you on this session. I mean, I've actually like edited the recording right now, so it's been an amazing session, I must say.